Psychology of people who endured a lot in childhood. There is a version of you that nobody sees. A version that learned before the world even had the chance to teach you anything. That survival is not something you wait for, it is something you become. If you are watching this, and something inside your chest just tightened, then this video was made for you. Because there is a quiet, invisible kind of strength that the world never names, never celebrates, and almost never understands. It is the kind of strength that is built not in gyms or classrooms, but in the dark rooms of childhood, in the silence between words that should never have been spoken, in the spaces where safety was supposed to exist but didn't, and the people who carry that strength, you may be one of them, walk through life looking completely normal, but underneath, something entirely different is happening. Here is what most people get wrong. They look at someone who grew up fast, who learned to read the room before they could read a book, and they say things like, "You're so strong," as though strength were a gift. But it wasn't a gift. It was a survival mechanism. Psychologists call this early adaptive behavior the mind's way of protecting a child who learned, far too soon, that the adults around them were not safe, not reliable, or simply not there. Your nervous system, that ancient biological alarm system wired into every cell of your body, made a decision on your behalf before you ever understood what was happening. It decided that you had to be alert, that you had to be ready. That love, in this world, comes with conditions, and if you are not careful, it will disappear. That is not cynicism. That is a child's nervous system learning the only lesson the environment was willing to teach, and here is where it gets complicated and where neuroscience starts to reveal something almost haunting. When a child is raised in an environment of chronic stress, whether that stress comes from instability, neglect, emotional unavailability, or outright harm, the brain does not develop the way it is supposed to. The prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for calm reasoning, for trusting, for believing that tomorrow will be okay, it develops more slowly. But the amygdala, the part of the brain that detects danger, that fires the alarm, that says be careful, be ready, do not trust, that part becomes hyperactive. So you grow up, and you enter adulthood, and the world tells you that everything is fine. But your body, your deeply wired brain, is still whispering, watch, because it learned that lesson long before you had the words to question it. And so, you watch. You read every room. You sense the shift in someone's tone before they finish their sentence. You carry a low, constant hum of alertness that never fully turns off, even when there is nothing at all to be afraid of. This is where people who endured a difficult childhood become something extraordinary, and also something deeply lonely. They become hypervigilant caregivers. They become the ones in the room who notice when someone is struggling, often before that person even realizes it themselves. They become the friends who answer at 3 a.m. without complaint, the partners who can sense a mood shift from across the house, the people who somehow always know what to say. And the world sees this and thinks it is kindness. And it is, but it is also armor, because somewhere, deep inside, a part of you learned that if you take care of everyone else, if you are indispensable, if you are always the one giving, then maybe no one will ever leave. Maybe, this time, you will be enough. But the cost of that armor is something nobody talks about openly. People who grew up enduring a lot often struggle to receive care. It feels foreign. It feels unsafe. When someone offers you unconditional love, love that does not ask for something in return, a strange, almost panicked feeling rises inside you. Because you were never taught that love could simply exist without effort, without earning it, without the terrifying possibility that it might vanish. So you push it away, not because you don't want it, but because you don't know how to hold it without breaking. Therapists call this a disrupted attachment style, and it is one of the most quietly painful legacies of a difficult childhood. You spend your whole life wanting closeness, and the very closeness you crave makes you feel most afraid. And yet, and this is the part that matters, there is something remarkable happening beneath all of that pain. People who endured a lot in childhood often develop what researchers call post-traumatic growth. Not despite their suffering, but woven into it. They develop a depth of empathy that is rare. They develop an intuition that borders on the uncanny. They develop resilience not as a buzzword, but as an actual, lived, daily practice of choosing to keep going when every signal inside them says they should have stopped long ago. They learn, eventually, that the hypervigilance that once saved them can be slowly, gently, deliberately quieted, not erased. It is a part of them now, but softened. And that softening is not weakness. It is the bravest thing they will ever do. So if you are someone who endured a great deal, before you ever had the chance to simply be a child, hear this. The fact that you are still here, still feeling, still reaching out, still watching a video at this hour because something inside you is searching for a reason to believe things can be different. That is not nothing. That is everything. You were not broken by what happened to you. You were shaped by it in ways that are still unfolding, in ways you are only beginning to understand. And the healing you are looking for is not about going back and fixing what was. It is about learning, slowly and with great patience, that the world you live in now is not the world you grew up in. that you are allowed to put down the weight you have been carrying, that you are allowed to be taken care of, not just to take care of others, that you are allowed to rest. So, ask yourself this tonight, in the quiet, when no one is watching and no one is asking anything of you, when was the last time you let someone truly hold the weight for you, even for a moment? And if the answer frightens you, that might be exactly where your healing begins.